So my notes get real sloppy right here. Giorgio deactivates the amplifier. Tyler finds Leland's face deformed and his eyes completely black. Leland/Control stabs Tyler in the gut. And then the Section 31 ship diverts the data transfer and reactivates the amplifier after snapping his hostage's neck. Who is the hostage here? Why did I forget to put that down?
It's just a crew, one of the Discovery crewmen.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because they don't really do a good job of naming all their crewmen. That's probably why.
Unfortunately, we wouldn't know because the dude wasn't wearing a red shirt. So that was a problem.
Yeah.
If he was wearing a red shirt, it'd have been fine. We'd have known exactly what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, there probably would have been some like racist Irish last name, you know.
Probably.
Mr. O'Milligwee, would you put down the whiskey and give us a hand over here?
And then gets his neck snapped.
Snap.
Dang.
I forget sometimes when you watch TV from the 60s how anti-Irish a lot of the humor is. And then I'll watch like, Me TV on Saturday nights. They'll do the old Batman and then roll into Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
And you have, was Commissioner Gordon, but then there was Chief O'Reilly or somebody was like the names, this real stereotypical cop. And then when you get into episodes of Star Trek, like every second or third episode has some stereotypical Irishman in there. And, was the kid that beat Jim Kirk up in school, Finnegan or something was his name, and he's just this like drunken Irish bully. They have all these characters like that. I'm like, wow, that anti-Irish sentiment was still going on in the 60s, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Irish, it's not racism, but I don't know what's the word for it.
Ethnicism or
sure, something like that. That was a thing back in the day. They were afraid all the Irish people were going to take their jobs.
Oh yeah.
Americans are always afraid somebody's going to take their jobs when really they're just taking the jobs that Americans don't really want to do.
Yeah. So they're always Catholic too. Those Catholics are coming over here from Ireland and Mexico and Italy and Poland, and they're taking all our jobs.
Well, I mean, if you recall, that was a big gripe about Kennedy because he was like, I believe he was our first Catholic president, and they were afraid. Oh no,
he was our first. Biden's our second.
Oh, was Biden a Catholic? I don't know much about Biden aside from basic stuff, but yeah, I mean, Americans love having problems with people.
Yes, we do. I'm over in a part of California where a lot of people came in. Well, a lot of the people here came from Oklahoma to pick fruit. And back then, it was all the Okies were coming to take our jobs. And Okie was still an insult when I was growing up. You want to call somebody poor trash or ignorant or so, you just call them an Okie. And the other thing was, when I was growing up, there were very few Catholics here that weren't Mexican. So just knowing a white Catholic was like this really weird thing around here. So I never admitted that my family was Catholic until I was like 15. We'll just keep that. Look, you're a Catholic Okie. Shut your mouth. Nobody needs to know that, okay? So
Americans, if early Americans, if you weren't a white, straight Protestant, we had an issue.
Oh yeah, you did not fit in anywhere. That is for sure. Leland I'm going to quit doing this. When I say Leland or Control, I'm referring to the same person now at this point. I'm not going to keep.
Gotcha.
Leland fires through the containment field, disabling the Red Angel suit and causing the time crystal to emit a pulse of energy. Giorgio disarms him and engages him in a furious melee.
I hate this. I hate the scene with her fighting him. Because, I mainly know her from Kung Fu movies.
Yes.
And she's a badass in those movies, like always.
A little tiny angry badass.
Yep. So I really wish that they had shot these scenes with her fighting. Really, any scene where Giorgio's fighting, I wish they would have shot it more like a Kung Fu movie. Because that's where she really shines with her choreographed fighting. Like, she really shines in that arena, and you just can't get that with the fast close-up cuts that we do on American TV with fight scenes these days.
Chris, what I'll bet it is. First off, fight scenes are hard to shoot. I mean, they are hard to shoot.
No,
But Michelle Yeoh could literally bend somebody in half and stuff their own head up their own butt. And any actor or stuntman they picked, she could literally outmove them. You know, she's been doing
probably.
this. Yeah, she's been doing this for 30 years. Or probably longer at this point. Yeah, I mean, she is like, if you go and you watch like her doing any fight choreography or anything, she's astounding, especially when she was a little bit younger, you know. But I mean,
she was in the Marvel Shang-Chi movie, and you know, her fight scenes in that were really good.
Mm-hmm. No, because I saw a bunch of her stuff back in the 90s, you know.
Wasn't she in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
She was, yeah. I can't remember the role that she was in, but she was definitely in it. And
she was in one of, you know, if it wasn't that one, she was in one of those more popular kung fu movies back then in the 90s. It might have been that one. It might have been something else, but yeah, like, she is a badass, and it just sucked seeing like the potential of those fight scenes like just get screwed up by how Americans like to shoot fight scenes.
Yeah, well, in this case, I'm gonna bet it's because Leland and his stunt double probably couldn't keep up with her.
Well, you may be right on that.
Yeah. You just watch anything she's done, and like, you compare her. I mean, who were our big martial arts guys in the 90s? Seagal, who was a joke. Van Damme, who was more show than practicality, but could move. But she could at least performatively outdo them all on screen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
but like my favorite kung fu movies of the modern times are all the Ip Man movies with
I just watched those.
Oh my God, they're so great.
And you know, not to get us too far offside, once they introduced Bruce Lee as an adult, whoever was playing him was outstanding. Oh,
and then even I think it was the third one, Mike Tyson was in there, and that was, oh my God, that scene was so good with them fighting.
No, that was
so. I wish they'd have shot this more like that.
Yeah, but you know, again,
but you're right.
Now you're talking about a Hong Kong film industry that makes fight movies compared to, I don't even know who directed this or who would have done the fight choreography or the cinematography. But I'll tell you what, they probably weren't the Hong Kong fight guys, you know?
Yeah, and you're probably right. The it would have just looked, I don't know, she would have been in too much control, I guess, of the fight if they tried to. And plus, like, if she was getting her ass whipped, you wouldn't believe that.
Nope. You're kind of in a situation where you cannot win no matter which way you go.
Yeah, that's you know what, that's an argument that I'll take. I'll accept it. Yeah, because I'll accept that.
You shoot it up close and tight, and that way you don't have to really worry about the details of it, and you can make the fight pitch whatever direction you need it to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's a fair point. I don't like it, but
no. But it's you know, shooting like that is what makes Christian Bale's Batman look like such a super badass in the first Batman movie he did.
Oh yeah,
because they close in like that, and it just looks like he's just throwing 15,000 fists a second, you know.
But that's what I love about kung fu movies, because they take it back.
Yeah,
and you can see everything happening. But you know, all those guys are just, and gals are just, you know, they're great at their craft, man. They know how to make fight movies.
And that's the thing, is a lot of those guys, I realize we're way off field here, but a lot of those guys are legit martial artists, but who also know how to make a fight look good on screen, which is a whole different thing than being able to beat somebody up.
And that's why I like Donnie Yen, man, or Donnie Yen. I mean, I've seen his name both ways, but yeah, that's why I love him, man. I know he can fight, but just the way it all gets choreographed on screen just is amazing to me.
Well, yeah, because the Ip Man he's doing Wing Chun the whole time, and that's not exactly like an impressive looking fight style, but they make it look great in those Ip Man films.
Well, so it's impressive looking, but it's not very practical in a real fight.
I not the way it was done on screen, but the way actual Wing Chun is, it is actually pretty practical in a fight. But it's different.
Okay, I mean, I don't
portrayed on screen.
I don't know enough about all that stuff to argue one way or the other. So I'm just gonna have to take your word for it, bud.
it was the foundation of Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do came from Wing Chun.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, man taught him.
Yeah.
So makes sense.
But you know what? We can talk kung. Yeah. You know, if we want to start a third show about kung fu movies, I'm down. But you know, we'll save that conversation for then.
Anybody, an editor out there we can hire? Because I can't edit all these.
I'm gonna need a break. Oh, let's see here. Gabrielle tells Burnham that they have to destroy the containment field, but Burnham tells the Discovery team to beam them up, then blow the place to hell. Pike orders Reese to fire photon torpedoes at the SF facility, but OO reports that Leland has escaped and that the Section 31 ship has masked its warp signature.
Of course.
Burnham watches one of her mother's mission logs and believes her mother was right to promise to come back for her and her father once the time storm passed. Spock enters, and they set up a three-dimensional chessboard, and then Burnham begins to contemplate her first move.